Hello, my name is Dylan Neerman.
I'm Dylan Armstrong.
I'm Ben Sadoff.
And I'm Sham Sodi.
And our experiment was how audio versus visual cues affect the ability to learn rhythm. So, for the introduction, the goal of our experiment was to see if there was a better alternative to sheet music. The other visual we tested was a step sequence, which we'll see in a minute. The use of VR was something we want to take advantage of for rhythm learning. Using VR allowed for a similar experience to playing real life drums. And we developed this project in Unreal Engine 5 with the Oculus Quest 2.
The experiment was made using Unreal Engine 5 with blueprints. We built off of the default VR template, and we created as many reusable blueprints as possible to reduce complexity. And most components react with the VR pawn, acting as an overall controller.
For the methodology, we tested 10 different rhythms delivered in 5 different ways. We had 2 step sequence with audio. We can see a step sequence in the bottom left corner with all the boxes. We also had 2 sheet music with audio. We can see example sheet music on the right. And then we had 2 audio only, 2 sheet music only, and 2 step sequence only. In total, we had 26 participants replicate the rhythms as best as they could within a 4-minute time frame for each rhythm. All of these rhythms were based off of eighth notes and quarter notes with 2 different drums. Using just eighth notes and quarter notes allowed for non-musical people to be able to play these rhythms in a short amount of time. We can see in the image these drums are color coordinated, red and blue. On the top row, we can see drum 2 with the blue notes. That means the user will play the blue drum at those times, and then same with the red. Like I said before, using VR allowed for a similar experience to actually playing a real drum. Participants were able to move their hand with the controller into the drum like they would hit a real drum.
All right, hopefully you guys can hear it. So the users will load in, as I said, to just this basic level where there's not much going on. The basic controls is the left thumbstick can snap you around in case there's any weird things where the orientation is wrong. Speaking of orientation, resetting it will hopefully bring you a little more centered. It's not the most accurate, but it works. There's also next level to obviously go to the next level when this one is completed. Replay audio, if there is audio available, it will play it again. Show stats, which I will show later, and then I already covered that one. So here are the drums. They work as intended. All right, I'll get on to the first level. So here it is. So after a couple of seconds, it will play the audio, and then the user tries to replicate it, which is perfect. So once you complete it, you get a little check mark down there, and you're able to go on to the next level. All right, there's a little bit of leniency with it. Obviously, we aren't perfect. I'll do one more. Perfect. All right, so once the experiment is over and the user has completed all of the levels, we can have them show stats, and then it will show them how long it took to complete each level.
We ran an ANOVA test on JMovi, which is a data analysis program, on all 10 rhythms and on the last 6 rhythms. So for all 10 rhythms, we had a p-value of less than 0.001, indicating statistical significance, saying that there likely is a better solution than learning with sheet music. And additionally, with the last 6 rhythms, we also get a p-value of less than 0.001, which also indicates statistical significance, meaning that there could be a better solution to learning than just with sheet music. And in the bottom left here, we have the rhythm averages per every participant in the study. We can see due to that, there is a lot more struggle with the first and last rhythms. And that can also be seen on the right with the rhythm averages, which shows rhythms 1 through 10 respectively. And we can see that rhythms 1 and 10, which are both step sequence, had the most struggle.
So for the discussion, Although the p-value suggests the data is statistically significant, there was some noise in the data due to multiple factors that should be documented and brought to attention. The first rhythm was the most complicated due to it being continuous eighth notes at 120 beats per minute, which was difficult for most participants to perform. The stimulus is also a novel one, so the habituation process made the time taken on the first one to be the most. The drums would sometimes register a double hit instead of a single hit, and the hitbox was also not very precise, so that influenced the success conditions. Reset timer errors were also a factor, as the user spent more time than expected to utilize that functionality. All these factors collectively generated some noise in the data that has been taken into consideration.
And some things we can improve for further research. Dividing subjects into separate test groups, such as a group that has musical experience, a group that has VR experience, and a group that has no experience in either of them. Another thing we could have improved is the way we calculated the forgiveness. And finally, a better way to reset the rhythm checking if a beat was missed or the user tried to restart. Thank you.